This silence is the first thing that disarms you. It's not merely an absence of sound, it's a presence of stillness, so complete it has its own texture. When you stand before a sea like this, the usual auditory landscape of your life, the hum of electronics, the distant murmur of traffic, the internal chatter of your own thoughts, it all seems to get swallowed by this vast, quiet expanse. The science behind this quiet is as fascinating as the feeling. For the ocean to achieve this glassy state, a specific and fragile alignment of atmospheric conditions must occur. First, there must be virtually no wind, often less than 1 knot. This is typically the result of a high-pressure system settling over the area, an atmospheric dome of stability that pushes away turbulent weather. But the absence of wind isn't enough. The temperature of the air and the water must be nearly identical. If the air is significantly colder than the water, convection currents form, creating ripples. If the air is warmer, evaporation can cause microdisturbances. This thermal equilibrium is most common in the very early morning, especially after a clear, calm night when the land and sea have had hours to reach a truce in temperature. The water itself has a role to play. It needs to be relatively free of large, subsurface currents or upwellings, which can create internal waves that eventually express themselves on the surface as ripples. This often happens in sheltered bays, coves, or inlets where the geography protects the water from broader oceanic forces. So when you witness this, you are witnessing a fleeting moment of perfect atmospheric and hydrodynamic balance. It's a cosmic coincidence rendered in water and light. And the light is the next actor in this silent play. With no ripples to scatter it, sunlight penetrates the water column in a direct, unwavering beam. This transforms the sea from an opaque, reflective surface into a transparent window. You can see straight down, often for many meters, into a world usually hidden by the sparkle and chop of waves. This clarity is not just visual. It feels like a revelation, as if the ocean is offering you a secret glimpse into its private depths. The surface itself becomes a flawless mirror, doubling the world. The sky, the clouds, the distant shoreline, all are perfectly replicated in an inverted liquid twin. This mirror effect has profound psychological implications. Neuroscientists studying the impact of natural environments on the brain have found that softly fascinating stimuli, like the gentle, predictable movement of water or the complex but orderly patterns of a forest, can induce a state of involuntary attention. This is a restorative state where the brain's directed attention faculties, which we exhaust with tasks and screens, get to rest and replenish. A glassy sea is the ultimate softly fascinating scene. Its perfect reflection offers a symmetry the human brain finds deeply satisfying and calming. It creates a sense of expansive space, both literally and mentally. Your perception doesn't stop at the waterline. It travels down into the depths and up into the reflected sky, creating an immersive, all-encompassing environment. This can trigger a shift from the brain's default mode network, associated with self-referential thought and worry, towards a more present-focused, meditative state. The effect is a tangible reduction in stress hormones like cortisol and an increase in feelings of awe and emotion linked to greater life satisfaction and a sense of connection to something larger than oneself. This is why people instinctively seek out these moments, photograph them, and hold them in memory. We are, on a cellular level, wired to find peace in such perfect, serene order. It's a biological reset button pressed by nature. As you stand there, this psychological shift begins to alter your very perception of time. The urgent, ticking clock of modern life seems to slow, its gears muffled by the stillness. Your breathing naturally deepens to match the slow, almost imperceptible heave of the water's surface. Your gaze loses its frantic, scanning quality and becomes soft, wide, and absorbent. You stop looking at things and start simply seeing the subtle gradations of color in the water, from the deep, somber navy at the horizon to the crisp aquamarine farther out, to the pale, translucent mint green at the shore. become vivid and captivating. You notice the way the pre-dawn light gilds the very top of the water, turning a thin strip of the horizon into liquid gold, while the rest of the sea holds onto the cool blues and grays of the retreating night. This is the true magic of the glassy calm. It doesn't just change the sea, it changes the seer. It forces a kind of sensory minimalism upon you, where every detail, from the distant cry of a solitary gull to the gentle lap of a tiny wave against a rock you didn't even notice before, becomes amplified and significant. In the noise and chaos of everyday life, our senses are bombarded, leading to a phenomenon known as attention fatigue. This calm acts as a sensory palate cleanser, stripping away the clutter and allowing you to process the world with renewed clarity and calm. It's a natural, profound meditation, and it's happening right here, right now, as you watch this. And beneath that mirror still surface, a whole other world is conducting its business in the amplified light of this perfect morning. Pierce that mirror with your imagination and dive beneath the surface. The glassy calm above creates a cathedral-like environment below. Sunlight, usually broken into a million dancing coins by waves, now streams down in solid, shimmering pillars. This phenomenon is known as God rays or crepuscular rays underwater, and their intensity and clarity are maximized on a morning like this. These beams of light illuminate suspended particles of plankton and silt, turning the water column into a vast, three-dimensional starscape. It's the aquatic equivalent of sunlight streaming through the high windows of a quiet ancient church. This sudden abundance of light kickstarts the greatest daily migration on Earth, the vertical migration of zooplankton. These tiny creatures, which include copepods, krill, and larval forms of many fish and invertebrates, spend the night in the relative safety of the upper layers of the water to feed on phytoplankton. As dawn breaks, they begin a slow, coordinated descent into the darker, deeper water to avoid visual predators. On a calm morning, this migration is visible. You might see dense, shimmering clouds of these organisms like underwater galaxies drifting slowly downward. Their movement is a fundamental pulse of the ocean's metabolism, a transfer of energy from the sunlit surface to the dark depths. This migration is the dinner bell for a host of larger animals. Small bait fish, like anchovies or silver sides, form tight, shimmering balls known as bait balls. The calm water allows them to school with incredible precision, each fish mirroring the movement of its neighbor to create a single, fluid organism that confounds predators. The glassy surface acts as a ceiling to their world, and they use it to their advantage. From below, the surface is a silver ceiling that can betray the silhouettes of predators from above, like seabirds. But on a perfectly calm morning, this ceiling becomes a perfect reflector, potentially confusing predatory birds. The baitfish move with a nervous, twitching synchronicity, their sides flashing in the sunbeams, and then the hunters arrive. A sleek, dark shape materializes from the deeper blue. It could be a bluefish, a mackerel, or a small tuna. Its attack is not the chaotic, splashy frenzy you see on windy days. In the calm water, predation is a study in stealth and precision. The hunter moves into the bait bowl not with reckless speed, but with controlled, powerful strokes. It may use a technique called fish herding, swimming in tight circles to compact the school further, disorienting them before striking with a swift lateral dash. The bait bowl reacts as one, exploding outward in a perfect, fluid ripple of motion before coalescing again, a few members fewer. You might see the flash of a predatory fish's side as it turns, a brief silver gleam in the clear water. Larger predators are also taking advantage of the clarity. A bottlenose dolphin might cruise through, using its echolocation to get a crisp, detailed picture of the seabed and any fish hiding near it. The calm water allows its sonar, clicks and whistles to travel with less distortion, making its hunting more efficient. On the sandy bottom, a flatfish like a flounder is almost invisible, its camouflage perfected by the clear light from above. It waits, its body barely disturbing the fine sediment, for an unwary crab or small fish to wander too close. The calm morning is a boon for bottom feeders. A stingray, its wingtips causing little puffs of sand, glides over the seabed, using electroreceptors to find clams and worms buried beneath. The clarity of the water means it can also use its eyesight more effectively. In the seagrass beds closer to shore, the scene is one of bustling industry. Juvenile fish of all colors and patterns dart among the blades, seeking shelter and micro-prey. A seahorse, wrapped by its tail around a blade, sways with a gentle surge, its eyes independently scanning for tiny crustaceans. A hermit crab in a borrowed shell makes a slow, laborious trek across a patch of open sand, a journey that would be perilous on a rougher day when visibility is low. Anemones, their tentacles fully extended in the still water, filter feed on plankton drifting by. The calm allows them to maximize their surface area without fear of being torn by waves. This entire submerged world is interconnected, a food web made visible by the unusual clarity. The plankton feeds the small fish feed. The larger fish and scraps from all feed the bottom dwellers. The glassy surface is the lid on this vibrant aquarium, a lens that focuses the drama and beauty of marine life into sharp, observable detail. Every creature is taking advantage of the temporary peace, either to feed, to grow, or to avoid being fed upon in conditions that are unusually favorable. It's a window into the ocean's baseline state, its rhythms and relationships unobscured by weather. But this perfect mirror is also a stage for the life that exists at the interface between water and air, a world that is both above and below. The surface of the water, that flawless plane of separation, is itself a habitat, a world known as the Houston layer. This is the boundary layer where the physics of air and water interact in unique ways, and on a calm morning its residents are out in force. Look closely at the water, not into it, but at its very skin. You will see tiny, almost imperceptible creatures skating and floating. These are the plutonic organisms, those that live at the mercy of the surface tension. The most famous of these is the sea skater or ocean strider, an insect that has conquered the open ocean. Related to pond skaters, these tiny marvels have water-repellent legs that distribute their weight perfectly, allowing them to walk on water without breaking the surface film. They spend their entire lives on this liquid plane, hunting for other small creatures that have fallen onto the surface and using the water skin as their solid ground. Then there are the villivelid, or by-the-wind sailors. These are not single animals, but colonies of hydrozoans related to jellyfish. They have a small, upright oval float with a translucent sail set diagonally across it. They drift completely at the mercy of the wind and currents, their tentacles dangling into the water below to catch plankton. On a glassy morning with no wind, they may be utterly still, their delicate blue bodies resting on the surface like scattered pieces of stained glass. Alongside them, you might find the mesmerizing Portuguese man-o'-war, another colonial organism whose long venomous tentacles can trail meters below. A fishing net of stinging cells waiting for small fish. Its gas-filled bladder, or new metaphor, sits on the surface, acting as a sail. The calm renders its vibrant purple and blue colors with shocking clarity, a warning sign on the quiet sea. This surface layer is also a nursery. The eggs of many fish and mollusks are buoyant, often embedded in gelatinous rafts or strands that float just below the surface. The calm protects these fragile incubators from being scattered or smashed against each other. You might see a faint, cloudy patch in the water, which upon closer inspection reveals itself to be millions of tiny, developing fish eggs. This Houstonic world is a critical part of the ocean ecosystem, a feeding ground for certain fish and birds and a dispersal mechanism for countless species. But let your eyes lift slightly from the water skin to the air just above it. Here, the calm creates perfect flying conditions for seabirds. Terns, with their angular wings and sharply pointed bills, hover almost motionless in the air, their eyes locked on the water below. The mirror surface gives them an undistorted view of their prey. They hang suspended by the steady, gentle air pressure that accompanies the high-pressure system, then fold their wings and drop like daggers, piercing the water with minimal splash to emerge with a small, silvery fish. It's a surgical strike made possible by the stillness. Frigate birds, the pirates of the tropics, soar high on the thermals that rise more predictably from a calm sea. Their long, forked tails and angular wings are unmistakable. They rarely touch the water. Instead, they harry other birds like booties or terns, forcing them to disgorge their catch, which the frigate bird snatches in midair. On a calm day, they're soaring it, effortless, a masterclass in energy-efficient flight. Closer to shore, wading birds take advantage of the clarity. A great blue heron stands statue still in the shallows, its reflection perfect beneath it. It can see every movement of the small fish and crabs on the sandy bottom. Its strike, when it comes, is a lightning-fast uncoiling of its serpentine neck. A movement so quick, it seems to break the very stillness it was part of. The sound of the splash is sharp, clear, and singular in the quiet air. The calm also amplifies sound in peculiar ways. The call of a distant gull carries with uncanny clarity as if it were just overhead. The soft plop of a pelican diving can be heard from hundreds of meters away. This acoustic clarity is another gift of the stable air. Sound waves travel farther, and with less distortion, when the air is dense and still, unperturbed by wind shear or turbulence. This benefits the birds, allowing them to communicate and locate each other more easily. The entire scene, from the microscopic striders on the water's skin to the soaring frigate birds high above, is a testament to life's adaptability. Every creature, from the smallest to the largest, is exploiting the unique conditions of this glassy morning. They are feeding, breeding, and surviving in a temporary paradise of calm. And this interplay isn't just beautiful, it's a critical indicator of ecological health. The abundance and diversity of life visible on such a morning are a snapshot of the coastal ecosystem's vitality. But as the sun climbs higher, this perfect balance begins to subtly, inevitably shift. The world starts to wake up in a different way, and the mirror begins to lose its edge. The sun's ascent is the conductor of change. That initial sliver of gold on the horizon widens, floods the sky with pastels, and then the sun itself breaches the edge of the world. Its angle is initially low, raking across the water and maximizing the mirror effect. But as it climbs, its energy begins to fundamentally alter the delicate equilibrium that created the calm. The first agent of change is heat. The sun's rays start to warm the land faster than they warm the sea. Land has a lower specific heat capacity than water, meaning it heats up more quickly. Within an hour or two of sunrise, the temperature of the sand, rocks, and soil along the coast begins to rise significantly above the temperature of the ocean. This creates a temperature gradient. Warm air, being less dense, begins to rise over the land. This rising air creates a localized area of low pressure. Nature abhors a vacuum, so cooler, denser air from over the now relatively cooler ocean surface begins to move in to replace it. This movement is the birth of the onshore breeze or sea breeze. It starts as the faintest whisper, a mere suggestion of movement on your skin. You might not even feel it at first, but you will see its effect on the perfectly glassy water. The first sign is not a ripple, but a subtle change in the quality of the reflection. The mirror image of the sky and clouds, once as sharp as a high-definition photograph, develops a slight, almost liquid smear. The hard edges of reflected objects begin to soften and wobble. Then you see it, a cat's paw. This is the sailor's term for the first patch of ripples on a calm sea. It appears as a dark, fleeting blotch on the water's surface, as if a giant, gentle paw had touched down and then lifted away. It's caused by that first puff of wind, which increases the roughness, of a small patch of water changing how it reflects light. The dark patch is actually a collection of tiny, capillary waves ripples, so small they are governed by the water's surface tension rather than gravity. They scatter the light instead of reflecting it cleanly, hence the darker appearance. These cats pause, multiply. They drift across the water's surface in random, wandering patterns, the vanguard of the coming breeze. For a while, the sea exists in a patchwork state. Vast areas of lingering glassy calm, interspersed with these moving islands of faint ripple. It's a beautiful transient phase where the sea seems to be breathing, stirring in its sleep. The soundscape changes too. The absolute silence is broken by the softest sigh, the sound of that first breeze moving over the water and rustling any dry beach grass or palm fronds on shore. It's a gentle, welcoming sound, but it signals the end of the mirror's reign. As the temperature difference between land and sea intensifies, the breeze becomes more consistent. The cats pause, merge into larger areas. The capillary waves begin to organize into small, proper gravity waves, the kind we recognize as wind-driven ripples. These have longer wavelengths and are now driven by the wind's sustained push. The surface of the water transforms from a mirror into brushed aluminum, then into a texture of fine, organized lines. The perfect reflections shatter and are replaced by a glittering, sparkling path of sunlight that leads from your eyes to the horizon, a phenomenon called a glitter path. This is caused by the now faceted water surface acting like millions of tiny, wobbly mirrors, each reflecting the sun in a slightly different direction. The world beneath the surface reacts to this change immediately. The pillars of light begin to dance and break apart. The clear, defined God rays become a shimmering, chaotic mess of light and shadow. Visibility decreases as the ripples scatter light back out of the water. The baitfish balls, sensing the decreased visibility and the potential for more cover, may relax their formation slightly or move deeper. The hunting strategies shift from visual precision to more reliance on lateral line sensing or sonar in the now murky water. The surface-dwelling Neuston organisms, like the Velella, begin to move. Their tiny sails catch the nascent breeze and they start their slow drift, often in a direction parallel to the shore. The sea skaters might find their footing a bit more turbulent as micro-breakers form on the tiny waves. The morning's profound stillness has been a parenthesis in the coastal day. It was a pause, a reset, a deep breath held by the landscape. Now, the exhalation begins. The breeze brings with it the smells of the awakened coast, the salty, iodine tang of exposed seaweed, the warm, dry scent of sand, perhaps the distant smell of coffee or breakfast from houses ashore. The sounds of human activity begin to layer over the natural ones, a distant boat engine, the chatter of early walkers on the beach, the cry of a child. The day is claiming its familiar dynamic character. The glassy calm, for all its magic, is not the ocean's default state. The ocean is a dynamic, restless entity driven by wind, tide, and current. The calm is the exception, the rare moment of balance and introspection. Its fleeting nature is precisely what makes it so precious. It teaches us to appreciate the moments of perfect peace when they come, because change is the only true constant. It shows us that beneath the surface of turmoil, there can be profound order, and that even the most turbulent systems can find moments of perfect stillness. This transition from absolute calm to gentle breeze is not a loss, but a transformation. It's the coastline waking up, stretching its limbs, and beginning the day's work. The energy that was stored in that stable, high-pressure system is now being converted into motion, into life, into the very breeze that rustles your hair and cools your skin. And as the world moves into its daytime rim, the memory of that perfect mirror remains, a reservoir of calm you can carry with you. So what do we take away from this deep, immersive journey into a peaceful coastal morning? We've witnessed a celestial alignment of physics, a high-pressure system, thermal equilibrium, and sheltered waters conspiring to create a liquid mirror. We've peered into the psychological reset it triggers in our overstimulated brains, a natural antidote to modern anxiety. We've dove beneath the surface to see a world of heightened drum and clarity, where predation is precise, and the daily migration of plankton is a visible pulse of life. We've explored the strange world of the surface itself, where creatures walk on water and jellyfish sail with tiny sails. And we've watched the sun's inevitable climb dismantle the perfection, replacing it with a dynamic, living breath of a sea breeze. This entire narrative is a testament to the interconnectedness of our planet. The atmosphere talks to the ocean, the sun talks to the land, and every creature, from the tiniest copod to the soaring frigate bird, responds to these conversations. A glassy morning is not a passive postcard scene. It is an active, teeming, and temporary state of being for an entire ecosystem. It reminds us that peace in nature is not emptiness. It is a different kind of fullness, a rich and ordered complexity that operates on a scale and rhythm we often fail to perceive in our busy lives. This experience is a powerful argument for mindfulness, for the practice of simply being present and observant. You don't need to be at this exact beach to find these moments of natural awe. They exist in the perfect symmetry of a spiderweb jeweled with morning dew, in the silent fall of snow in a forest, in the still surface of a pond at dawn. The skill is in learning to see them, to recognize the conditions that create them, and to allow yourself the time to truly absorb them. This video was an attempt to give you that skill, to slow down a single, fleeting morning, and stretch it into a detailed exploration so that you can carry this lens of awareness with you. The next time you find yourself near a body of water on a calm morning, you will see so much more. You will understand the science of the stillness. You will imagine the hidden world below. You will appreciate the fragile interface of the Newton layer. You will notice the precise behavior of the birds, and you will watch with a knowing eye for the first cat's paw that signals the gentle end of the magic. This knowledge doesn't ruin the mystery, it deepens it. It replaces a vague feeling of this is pretty with a profound sense of this is how my world works. And it is magnificent. You become not just a spectator, but a participant in the understanding of a natural phenomenon. This is the ultimate goal of any deep dive into nature, to foster a connection that is based on knowledge and wonder, a combination that fuels true stewardship. When we understand the intricate ballet of conditions that create such beauty, we are more likely to value and protect the environments that make it possible. We become advocates for clean oceans, for stable climates, for the preservation of the delicate coastal zones where such magic occurs. This peaceful morning is a benchmark of planetary health. Its increasing rarity in a world of changing climate and polluted waters makes it all the more precious. It is a canary in the coal mine of coastal serenity. So let this be more than just a viewing experience. Let it be a call to awareness, to appreciation, and to action in your own way. But before you go, I need you to do one more thing for me. If this journey resonated with you, if you felt that sense of calm, if you learned something new about the hidden world of a glassy sea, then please let me know. Your engagement is what allows me to create more content like this. So take a second right now, like this video. It tells the algorithm that this kind of deep, thoughtful, long-form content is valuable. Leave a comment below. Tell me about your own experience with a perfectly calm body of water. What did you see? How did it make you feel? Or ask a question about anything we covered. I read every single comment, and I love continuing the conversation there. And most importantly, if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the bell. This channel is dedicated to unpacking the profound stories hidden in plain sight all around us, in nature, in science, and in human experience. I don't just make quick clips. I craft immersive documentaries like this one, designed to transport you, educate you, and leave you with a lasting sense of wonder. You won't want to miss the next one. We might explore the deafening silence of a deep forest, the furious power of a thunderstorm, or the intricate social world of a beehive. Each video is a deep dive, a chance to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. So click subscribe, click the bell, and choose to get all notifications. Be part of this community of curious, calm-seeking individuals. Share this video with someone who needs a moment of peace today, or who loves the ocean as much as we do. Your support is everything. Thank you for spending this time in the quiet with me. Now, go out there and find your own moment of glassy calm. I'll see you in the next video.